One. Hello folks, welcome to OTD, also known as On the Deck. My name is Adam Orduna. This is my mom Gina.
He is the journalist.
And she's the enthusiast.
I am not enthusiastic about the heat. My goodness.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
We are really out here.
We are out here. It is really humid and the temperature isn't even that bad, but the humidity right now is just making it really hard for us out here.
We might have to start filming this show at 6 in the morning.
Yeah, it's getting bad. So if you see us sweating or fanning ourselves off, you see a little sweat.
It's an online show, folks.
It's an online show, and we're outside. So
we're outside.
That's kind of why that is. So anyway, we're going to continue on with our NFL talk today, and we have done the NFC North. We have done the NFC South, and now we're going to go to the NFC East.
And if you're asking why a couple of Chiefs fans, we're talking about the NFC.
Great point.
Chiefs fans are very sophisticated. We could talk about anything.
All day, every day.
We love our team, but we could talk about everybody else.
Exactly. Hey, there's nothing wrong with being a fan of one team.
That's your job.
It is my job, but that's part of the show. That's what we do. We talk about teams, athletes, and everything in between.
I'm excited about this one.
This is a good one because there's a lot of teams in this division that people love to hate and love to root for, and so it's a really good one. So the headliner, do you want to talk about the headliner in this one?
Which would be the Dallas Cowboys.
The Dallas Cowboys is the headliner for a lot of different reasons.
So who's in this division?
We've got Dallas Cowboys, we've got the Philadelphia Eagles, we've got the Washington. We don't say their actual team name for a lot of different reasons. That's our own protest, if you will.
Correct.
And then we also have the New York Football Giants. Thank you. New York Football Giants.
The Washington threw you off.
They threw me off. They did.
Woo, that's sweating.
Yeah, okay. So with that, let's go ahead and just do with the highs and lows. We can save the headlining team for last. Just to kind of, because we'll finish that out. Yeah, so let's start with actually Philadelphia, because that's a good team. Very historic team as well. There's a movie made about them. There's just a lot of different cool things.
One of the old school
teams. And Philadelphia is, city of brotherly love. And so
what happened?
I'm getting sticky here, so I had to readjust mid-sentence.
I saw you get up. I'm like, are we done?
No, sorry. It's really hot.
Let me jump in.
So yeah, you go ahead. Since I'm a hot mess right now, please go with the Eagles.
All right. Well, the number one high for the Eagles is they got rid of Chip Kelly. Bye.
That's a big one. That's big. That's huge.
And the other high for them is they picked up our former OC from the Kansas City Chiefs, who is going to do a phenomenal job.
Coach Peterson.
Coach Peterson. Coach Peterson, who was there. He's been with Andy Reid. Philadelphia is home to him. He's a brilliant mind. He did a great job for us last year. And I think he's got the kind of character that's going to bring that team together. They had some great offseason pickups. They had a good draft. I just think the highs for them are going to start with the coaching, and it's going to roll right through. I think it's going to be a really good offense. They've had a really good, they've had a lot of switching at the running back position, but I think they've got some good weapons there. But I think their receivers are going to be a big strength for them. The lows for the Eagles, and I think it was one of their lows last year, is going to be their defensive side of the ball. But I do think that they've got as good a chance as anybody in that division to have an actually kind of a breakout season this year. Correct.
I agree with you. I will say yes, with the new head coach, kind of a revitalized new wave of Eagles, if you will. They still have Darren Sproles, who's an amazing running back. Sam Bradford is still there. If anything else, it's another guy that's been at that program. And like you said, again, they're a team that has potential to go ahead and have a really good season. And so as long as they shore up the defense, I don't really see them having a down year, if you will. So, so we got the Eagles. Let's go ahead and move on to Washington. Okay, Kirk Cousins is still at the helm. I think he's going to go ahead and continue to do what he does, which is win football games, but he is consistent and being inconsistent. So he's one of those guys that will win you 3 or 4 games, and then he'll go out and poo-poo it out. So I don't know exactly what's going to come about, but there's a lot of noise with Josh Norman over there on the defensive side of the ball, and so we'll see how it works out. And I believe Coach Gruden is still there, Jay Gruden as the head coach, and so we'll see. What do you think?
Well, for one thing, the low for me is the logo, and I think until they get that fixed out, which is a whole different show, I'm always going to give them a on that. The high for me is Josh Norman. I hope you all understand what a great pickup that is. He's explosive. He's dynamic. He is nobody's punk.
Right.
He is coming out there for you.
Chip on his shoulder.
Got
Ultimate
a chip on his shoulder. A
Yep.
lot to prove. He's worth every single penny you paid for him. The other low for me, I hate to say it, is Jay Gruden. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I lost so much
All
respect.
right.
I think he's a great football mind. I think he's probably a good guy, but he's not a player's coach. What he did to RG3 to me is unforgivable. I think it showed a lack of credibility in his ability to take that kind of athlete and run him into the ground in lieu of Kirk Cousins.
Right.
Cut me a break. No offense, Kirk Cousins. Well, no, how about this? Offense. You're not the caliber that RG3 is. I think you're inconsistent, and I think Washington has a lot of issues. If Josh Norman weren't there, I wouldn't even watch him. How about that?
Well, hey, there you go. You know what? That's very fair to say.
Let's move on.
All right, let's move on. So we've got the New York Football Giants.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got Eli Manning. We've got Odell Beckham Jr.
OTD.
Victor Cruz is coming back.
Good looking.
I mean, they've got some weapons on offense, exactly, and then they've got some people out there. And so again, like every trend, if they can have the defense be on lock, if they can bring it all together as a team. When they decide to win, they're the best team. When they aren't caring that much, they're one of the worst teams. And so you don't really know what you're going to get, but they also have a first-year head coach who the former OC last year is now the head coach this year after getting rid of Tom Coughlin, who was a veteran, well, not for as far as military, but as far as the NFL, very good coach. So we'll see what happens this year. What are you thinking?
Well, I was going to say highs and lows. High is Eli Manning. You have Eli Manning.
Okay.
You have Eli Manning.
Two-time Super Bowl champ.
My goodness.
Last name Manning, that's all that matters.
And he is throwing to Victor Cruz and Odell Beckham Jr.
Right.
You also have a very strong line. I don't think the line for New York, as a matter of fact, they get a little more maligned than they should.
Sure.
I'm going to say the same thing I've said about every NFC team. The issue is the defense.
Right.
I'm going to say that. The issue is the defense. Josh Norman and ODB, if you haven't seen him, Google it.
Yep.
I mean, but the issue is that in the NFC, I think they've gotten away with some sleeper defenses. So I'm going to say that's their challenge. I understand why they got rid of Tom Coughlin. I'm not going to say I love it. So I think that there's going to be an up and down. I can't give them a full thumbs up. So I think that's going to be their challenge. It's the new coach, and I know he's been there, but whenever there's a coaching change, there's an issue. But you still have your offensive weapons. You guys are going to put up some points.
They're going to put up some points, and they were really good last year. It was one of Eli's best statistical years that he's had in a long time. And so I think they'll be fine offensively.
All right,
so on to the last and final team.
And we can do a whole show on this
We can do the whole everything on this team. All right, the Dallas Cowboys, since we don't have all that much time.
How much time
we
do we
only
have?
got 2:30 left, so
let's
try to knock this out and then get our rankings down. All right, the Dallas Cowboys. You go ahead and start us out.
Highs and lows?
Yeah, highs and lows.
All right, my high is Dak Prescott.
All right.
Absolute high is Dak Prescott. But let me be also very clear. You also have my guy out of Oklahoma State, number big old 88.
Mr. Dez Bryant.
Bryant.
Okay,
Dak
thump
and
them bones.
Dez. And then
Thump them bones.
You don't have to like his personality, but Ezekiel Elliott is a running back for true. So they have got a great explosive offense, and let's be very clear, best O-line in the league. I don't have to like Dallas, which I don't, but I'm not going to hate. That O-line is legit. You can pretty much put anybody back there, and they're going to run.
Sure.
The downside to it is the Jerry Jones show. Not Mr. Jones himself. I have a lot of respect for Jerry Jones.
Right.
It's the show. It's the circus. It's the atmosphere. The same thing we said about New Orleans having a dark cloud over them. Y'all have the clown cart.
Yeah.
It's like, Dallas, just get it together. You have all the tools you need to win. I'm not even going to tell your defense is suspect because I think you actually have a pretty strong defense. But to me, the downside is just going to be get rid of distractions, focus in, and number one distraction for you right now is Tony Romo. That's part of the circus.
Yep.
You have to retire, Tony. You have to retire. Go ahead, because I'll go.
No, honestly, you're exactly right. The highs are obviously Dak Prescott, but and the fact that they did have Jason Garrett, the O-line, all of that stuff is great. But the lows it's the circus and distractions. That's all that is. You've got guys suspended for X amount of reasons. You have people not doing what they're supposed to do. You've got injuries. You've got this, that, and the third. It's Jerry World. It's not even called. I don't even know what the actual name of the stadium's called, but everyone just says Jerry World.
Right.
So because of that, you are always going to have distractions here and there.
I think it's the AT&T Stadium.
It is the AT&T Stadium, So the point with that being is that, if they can not have distractions, they're a Super Bowl contending team. All right, so with that, let's go ahead and rank them. NFC East. All right, with that, I'm actually going to go with, on paper, you would say the Dallas Cowboys. Okay, but until they kind of get everything handled, I'm actually going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles as number one. Then I will go with the Dallas Cowboys. Then I'm going to go with the New York Football Giants, and then I'm going to go with the Washington team up there in DC. How about you?
You know what? I hate to say it. I'm going to pick Dallas. Dallas.
Okay.
Sorry. Thank you. I choked on that.
That's all right. Yeah.
That's
all right. Hey, it's all right.
I'm going to go Dallas. Then I'm going to go Giants.
Okay.
And as much as it hurts me, I'm going to put Eagles third. I think they're coming up.
Sure.
Ask me next year what I think. I'm going to go Eagles and then Washington.
Yeah, well, it could go any way. We all saw last year that division was up in the air until like the last 2 games of the season. So either it's a really low division or it's a really competitive division. But either way, there's always excitement coming out of that group. So we'll see what happens. So with that, we want to say we appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time, folks.